One question I've been wanting to ask you for a while, and I feel like this is a very unique situation and something that maybe only you will deal with. The cliche is our team's like a family. We treat everyone like a family. The 450 wing of your team is literally a family. So how do you adapt, or how do you have to adapt your management skill to deal with that? Because I'd imagine it's very different to, say, having Jet and Chase.
Yeah, it is very different. In a lot of ways, it's a lot easier, because you know that even if they do get into it and they have, altercations or something like that, they're gonna get over it. And it's maybe they wouldn't happen in every brother situation, but in this one with the family, with their dad, Darren, they've always stressed that the family comes first and the racing comes second. So yeah, they could be really, really upset with each other, but they're gonna get over it, and usually rather quickly. I mean, they've had plenty of races against each other where, like Millville last year in 2022 outdoors, where they're going back and forth, and then Jet ends up coming out on top, or Atlanta Supercross, Hunter was able to win, things like that. They're able to get over it really quickly. And the family dynamic, I think, is the thing that helps us. And it does really bring them a lot closer. And I know that the cliche is that everyone's like a family, but that's really what it feels like when we have, we deal with Darren Lawrence a lot, and Emma Lawrence, the mom. So all those things are very cool that we have, and it does make my job easier, to be honest. Yeah.
I feel like some managers would maybe try and pull the reins back on the family vibe. Do you just kind of let it roll because you can see that is a positive for the team? Or do you ever try and maybe bring it into more of a business scenario?
Every situation is a little different, and I think these two riders function better with their dad really involved, and it helps us a lot. He has helped us with development, because he has such a good eye for things, and he watches his sons. He's watched them obviously ride almost every day that they've ever ridden a dirt bike. So for that, it really helps us. He's got a really good eye for not just, suspension and chassis, but, a lot with engine. He loves engines. So I have to give him a little bit more leeway than I would maybe somebody else, but also because he deserves it. And he comes up with good ideas. We're able to have great conversations, and we're able to argue, and he can take that as a constructive criticism, or he can take that and really think about it and go, you know what, you're right. And like, he has that. He doesn't have an ego about it, so that makes it a little bit different. And he is just as much a team member as anybody else on our team.
You're obviously close to the situation, so you can see the positive. I would imagine that at some point, maybe at the beginning of the Lawrence brothers' journey, questions were asked higher up about whether this family dynamic will work and how to manage it and how to not let the Lawrences overrule the HRC situation. Like, did those questions come up from higher management?
Somewhat, I guess so. There are situations where you're going to need to, and I have had to talk to Darren too, because he's so enthusiastic that sometimes he just does things without asking, and then he's like later on like, oh, hey, by the way, we're like, hey man, we got to really be on the same page. We got to talk about these things, because we definitely don't want things to get out of control. So we haven't really had to have that at a high level, I don't think. And obviously a lot of those things that have happened have been successful, so it hasn't really been an issue. But it definitely could be, and if that happens, then we'll see. We'll get there when we get there, I guess.
Yeah, that's where this unique situation works well. The success makes everyone happier.
Yeah.
It makes it much easier. It would be interesting if the success were to go away, fingers start to be pointed how that dynamic would fracture. But hopefully you never have to deal with that scenario.
Yeah, no, that definitely is something that can happen in any situation. I mean, anytime you're not winning, it's why aren't we winning? It must be this reason. And so, and right now, yeah, when you're winning, everything's great, right? So right now, it seems to be working really well. I think we all work well together, and like I said, we're able to tell them, and they're able to tell us, this isn't working, and we think we should do this. We're able to have these conversations, uncomfortable conversations sometimes, and work through it. And it really seems to have helped us a lot.
Does it sometimes feel like them and us?
Not really. It really feels like it's always going to be a little bit them and us. I mean, mainly because we're here working in the shop. They're 2,500 miles away in Florida, So you're always kind of like, oh, what are they doing over there? And they're probably going, what are they doing over there? You know, so, but our communication is really good. And I think that we have brought together now, you know, especially now because both riders are on 450s, and then, you know, Joe and Chance on the 250s. And that's another thing. Chance is, you know, fathered Chris. Great relationship with him too, as far as that super smart guy. So it really does feel like the whole team is kind of unifying to. We had a great atmosphere last year, like I mentioned in the meeting also, but it really feels like because we have such a young team and our future looks hopefully very long and really bright. I think that our strength, you know, we're combining all of that to feel like a really, really strong family bond.
Last question. Hunter raised this in Paris and then Jet just agreed with it. Hunter feels that having him and Jet on the same class, same bike, they can elevate a program much higher than teammates who have very individual interests. Hunter cites that they did that in 250s and he's looking forward to making the Honda better in 450s. From your perspective, and also going back to your mechanic days, how is it beneficial having two teammates who are really a team, which, as you know, again, we are a family, but in most instances, a team is not that.
Yeah, I think it helps that they like similar setups on their bikes, you know. When you have a rider that likes, for example, a really low rear end, you know, rear steering bike like a Ryan Villapoto versus Ken Roxon that likes a really front load, you know, that kind of thing, it's not going to really work to develop together not in every situation anyways. Luckily they do. They like really similar setups, so that helps. And yeah, I think it will elevate. And luckily what they like is what you and I would like, you know, more than others, I think, you know. So yeah, it has been really, really cool to have them, you know, wanting to help with the production bike, get the production bike to a point where it works for everyone. And so that's one of the goals that we're definitely going to be, you know, working on for the foreseeable future.